The Raptors come up just short against the Los Angeles Lakers, 132-131. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Michael DiGiorgio, Jack Armstrong, and Paul Jones. Guys, that's a tough game if you're a Raptors fan to watch. Jack, I'll start with you. Thoughts on that fourth quarter? Lots to unpack here.
Well, I didn't like the officiating in the fourth quarter. That's
Get
clear
fined,
as
Jack.
day. No. I'm just saying. I don't think it was a great whistle the Raptors got in the fourth quarter there. So that's one thing. I do think that this is an adjustment night for the Raptors, and it's a tough night to not have Jakob Poeltl, and now you got to play Anthony Davis. And I thought they got great minutes out of Thad Young, and they battled. So as disappointed as I am that they lost tonight, I'm not discouraged. I mean, I like where things are headed here with this team. I really like where things are going. I mean, they're playing with energy and pop and playing hard. They're fun. They're entertaining. So, now they just got to adjust in terms of different combinations in terms of their lineup. Now, I thought the bench did not play well in the first half. The bench has been excellent. And, obviously they tried to preserve the bench and start Thad Young and keep that same rotation going. And in the second half, they were better, but I thought that was a problem. But, hey, bottom line, look, when you're dealing with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I mean, they're Hall of Famers. They get you in the two-man game. It's tough.
Jonesy, LeBron's been very critical of the officiating lately, and especially in that game he was watching against Indiana and Boston, I think it was. They seem to get a number of calls tonight. Were you thinking that this was a little outrageous?
Yeah, I thought it was a little, as Jack said, the officiating I thought was very one-sided. I mean, there are a lot of numbers that you look at. The Raptors, they say the aggressive team normally gets to the free throw line more. Anthony Davis had more free throws than the entire Raptor team. Austin Reeves had more free throws individually than any Raptor player individually. Free throws were 21-2 in the fourth quarter. I know some of that was the Raptors fouling intentionally, but the Raptors made more field goals, more threes, outscored the Lakers by 20 points in the paint. So, I mean, that tells me they're the more aggressive team. Yet the free throws were, 38 or 36 or whatever. They were triple the amount almost. Raptors had 13 free throws in the entire game. I just thought they had a bad whistle. To Jack's point, I thought the Lakers ran their stuff and got the ball to Anthony Davis really, really well. The Raptors tried to switch it up. They went zone a little bit. They found the soft spot in the zone. They got it to Davis down low. They screened the zone. They did it. I mean, he was the difference tonight, Anthony Davis. And I just thought the Raptors, as Jack said, they battled. And, you look at it, and if you were to step back objectively, you would say that you could easily see the Raptors winning that game tonight. But to Jack's point, I thought some of the calls were extremely questionable. Like, I look at Anthony Davis, as big and strong as he is. That bump by R.J. Barrett's going to send him to the ground on an offensive foul without a flop.
Yeah.
When Scotty makes a three to tie it, Scotty's drive at the end on Max Christie looked like he was bumped 2 or 3 times. They don't get the benefit of the whistle. That would have made it a one-possession game. So there are little things like that, hey, we know it. Mike's a coach. Jack's a coach. There are some places you go, you have to be better. You've got to be 8 to 10 points better. Jack will tell you a story about being at Fordham and the great Tom Penders with teaching a permanent pivot foot because he doesn't want the official having anything that looks like a travel to call when it's important. So if you're the Raptors, you take solace. Hey, maybe you take a few fines and cry for some respect and then move on.
Mike, you agree that R.J. Barrett was not a foul? And then quickly with just talk about also that flagrant foul they called on Quickly.
Yeah. I didn't agree at all with the Quickly flagrant. I could see the offensive foul because of the contact with the elbow. The flagrant's a tough call, I think, to stomach. And then obviously the one at the end with RJ, like that, if that's the second quarter, that's a definite no call. It's just
Yeah.
one of the things. The referees are going to be scrutinized for everything. The last 2 minute report's going to come out and it'll probably say it wasn't a foul. That's typical right now. But yeah, like Jack and Jonesy both said, like the Raptors showed some good things tonight, and I think you play that game 10 times, it's probably 5 wins for the Raptors and 5 wins for the Lakers. Because it was a tight game throughout. I mean, 21 lead changes, I think, throughout the game. So one play here, one play there would change a lot of what happened for the outcome of that game.
Randall, you've played, Mike, Jack, you guys have been around the game. And this is something that Jack and I talk about often. When you go to the review and they start reviewing things in super slow motion, everything like that quickly. Yeah, it was a foul.
It looks worse.
It looks worse. But fellas, we've all played the game. Do you know how good you have to be to drive, deliver an elbow, step around a defender, and finish and make it look like you weren't trying to do anything? Like, I get it. I can see offensive foul. But to call it a flagrant as if it was something that he was doing that was unnecessary, he's trying to get to the basket. That's a high gather that brings the ball from his right side to his left side. That's all that is.
And watch Quickly play. He always has a high gather. Like that's part of his game. He has that little skip in his move when he goes to the basket, and he has a lot of that stuff in his game. So, no, I totally agree with you guys. I totally agree with it. But again, as I said earlier, as disappointed as I am that they lost, and Mike, I agree with you, it probably would be 5-5. This was an entertaining game, well fought, and if the Raptors can keep channeling this stuff, they're going to be fine.
Mike, you were talking to me before the show about, I say they teach that as a basketball play, but you said the gather's got to be lower. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I thought he could have brought the ball through his chin rather than above his head, which would take his elbows sort of out of his face, like the head range. Because if his elbows hit him in the chest or his shoulder or anything like that, that's a foul on Reddish, and he's going to the line for an N1.
Yeah.
So I mean that's hindsight, obviously 2020. But yeah, like that's such a bang call. Who knows how it could change.
Jack, what did you think with no Pirtle in the lineup? How do you think they defended Anthony Davis?
Well, obviously early they struggled because the Lakers put them in 2-man action, side screen and roll, mid screen and roll, and they just went after them. I thought as the game went on, Thad Young got more in rhythm. He played well. I thought Scotty Barnes did a good job as a small ball 5, quarter at times. But, it's interesting. I give Coach Darvin Ham, who's caught a lot of criticism here, I give him a lot of credit. When the chips were down, they went to Davis, and they knew they had an advantage tonight more than ever, and they utilized it. So, they're going to be a lot some nights, particularly against guys like Davis, where you're going to really miss Pirtle. And then there's other nights you can get away doing a little small ball. But Jakob does a lot of things. I said this a few times tonight in the first half. I thought the ball was very sticky tonight offensively in the first half. And a lot of that has to do with not having Pirtle on the floor, setting good screens. When he catches it, getting rid of it quick, and the offense having more flow. I thought there was a little bit too much bounce in the first half. And, the second unit needs to be better.
Jonesy, I want to ask about the DAngelo Russell stuff tonight, because I really liked how RJ Barrett was giving it back to him. That kind of toughness, that kind of like just bravado we haven't seen a lot from this Raptors team, and it's nice to see. And what was DAngelo Russell's problem?
Well, I think he was just chatting a little bit too much. He was into it with RJ Barrett. He was into it with Dennis Schroeder. And you could see
the too small on Schroeder. Like when he doesn't even make the shot, like just get out of here with that.
Well, and you know, the thing is, you have to be able to control your emotions. There were times when DAngelo Russell came down in transition and fired threes just to try and make a point to, and those were, in my eyes, those were bad shots at that time in the game for a guy on the bench, because he's drawn into a selfish battle with other people. So, you know, you've got to understand everything that's going on. And I thought RJ Barrett handled it well. He had one opportunity. He was bearing down on DAngelo Russell. And rather than try to take it to the basket and then maybe understand that it could have been an offensive foul on him, maybe Russell was waiting, he kicks it cross court for a wide open three by Gary Trent Jr. So those are the little things that I see the maturity in a guy like RJ Barrett as he's growing in this league.
Mike, Scotty had a great bounce back game, and especially in that fourth quarter, he was awesome again tonight. But are you seeing a little bit of an adjustment period on how he's meshing with the new guys, like when he's supposed to take his shots, or what are you seeing on that part?
Yeah, I really liked how he attacked the paint, and he made plays for others. He found the smaller guys and he really attacked them and shot over the top of them when he had a chance. And you know, when he's making his three ball, they can't lay off him as much. So he gets a chance to attack closeouts, and he gets a chance to get all the way to the rim. But yeah, like the more they play together, the more comfortable they're going to be. Like he found Pascal twice for threes in the corner where were big shots for us. And the more those two can work together, sort of like how LeBron and AD work together, like that two-man game, add quickly in there, add RJ, like we got a lot of weapons that we can use. And once they get integrated, you know, you can see we've scored a ton of points the last couple of games. Now it's about becoming a lot more comfortable and picking up the schemes defensively. You clean that up and you score 131 on the road, you're probably going to win most of the time.
Jack, another game tomorrow night, same building, this time against the Clippers. How do you bounce back from something like this? Because sometimes these emotional games can take a little toll out of you.
Yeah, that's true. But the beautiful thing about the NBA is that you do get to flush it out of your system right away. And my whole thing is just get off to a good start. And I think you're going to have the bench is going to be more of a factor tomorrow night, and they got to be better early. I think that would be, I mean, to have only 3 points in the first half, and they've been lighting it up of late. The second unit's got to be one of the big stories for the Raptors tomorrow night. They got to be the better second unit in the building, and they got to help their starters out a little bit. And I thought the Raptors were very resilient tonight, and they got to play an incredibly resilient game tomorrow. Because this Clipper team, even though the Lakers beat them the other night, they're much better than the Lakers.
All right, great stuff, guys. Get us up there. Next game for the Raptors is Wednesday night against the Los Angeles Clippers. Tip-off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Raptors Tonight will go live on YouTube shortly after the game. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.